Welcome back to Down the Track, and the Mumbai middle order has finally performed. They've beaten the Punjab Kings. It was a tricky chase, not so easy, even though it was a low score, but they got the job done, and that's what matters. 2 points in the bag. I have with me my co-host Abrar Aziz. How are you, man?
2 points to Punjab and 2 points lost to 2 points to Mumbai and 2 points lost to Punjab. I mean that's a big loss for them. They were in the game until Hardik and Pollard finally were able to get them over the line. And finally, we were talking about this yesterday. Is Hardik's batting a problem and stuff like that? We're starting to get like some doubts in our mind. But I think he quashed them today after that's proper performance. I think what was it, 40 of 30 balls and that kind of a pitch where it was really slow, and then Pollard to come in 15 of 7 just to kind of wrap up things was incredible to see.
Yeah, that gives a lot of confidence in the Hardik Pandya innings. I think that's how you get into form. You take your time. He took his time, and credit to Saurabh Tiwari. I think he batted brilliantly. He took the pressure off Hardik. He let Hardik bide his time, and he batted well. Unlucky to get out, but Saurabh Tiwari has been very consistent whenever he's gotten a chance. He doesn't look fit. He doesn't look like someone who's going to score runs, but he's scoring runs, and it just shows cricket is a different type of fitness. You still need skill with the bat, and you can perform.
Brute force with him, brute force. It's kind of been his kind of forte, and big call to get him instead of Ishan Kishan, because that's usually, I mean, Ishan Kishan is your main middle order mainstay with the Indian call up as well. Now that
Yeah.
he's in a pretty big level right now, so it's a big call by the think tank to get Saurabh Tiwari in at number 4 in that important position. And I guess they understood that the low form of Sky and Kishan is where they are struggling, and it paid off. That very important 45 of 37 with 3 4s and 2 6s. It was a pretty solid performance.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that's a huge, huge call because getting dropped from the Mumbai team where 7 Indians are allowed to play, and you're in the squad of the Indian national team. I don't know, like the Ishan Kishan move, it's a huge call. It'll dent his confidence big time. He'll have to come back strong. Hardik Pandya has shown today that you can have poor form, but you take some time and you can get out of it. Surya Kumar as well. Uh, Mumbai won, but him getting out first ball, that's another bad sign. But again, with these players, I would say that they just need to continue. They're talented. They're picked for a reason. They play for India for a reason. You do go through bad patches, but it's about coming back from those bad patches.
Absolutely. I think Surya Kumar, again, I mean, a few bad games. We spoke about this again. But I still believe in the immense talent that the boy, the kid, that the man, he's my age, I guess. So that the man has. Yeah, I think looking forward to him trying to change this around, because these are going to be similar conditions. You're not going to get anything different for the World Cup. My one worry about the World Cup is that we're already seeing some really, really slow pitches. I'm really hoping that UAE has some pitches that are not being used for the World Cup, so we'll see a little bit more in terms of the runs being scored, because 120, 130 games can be good, but every now and again you want to see a 180, 200 as well, right?
Yeah, and they only have 1 week to prepare, so I don't know how that's going to work. Hopefully, they
There
have
was
pitches
there
which
was
have
some
not been
report,
used.
yeah, there was some report that I've read that they're not using two pitches from each ground. I don't know how much of that
Yeah.
is true, but we'll have to wait
Yeah.
and see.
Yeah, 100%. And if you just look at the first innings, Punjab, the difference is that Mumbai's middle order was not in form, but they had the personnel. Punjab don't have the personnel. They rely too heavily on their top three, four. Everyone talks about Sunrisers top heavy, but Punjab is equally top heavy. Yes, Aiden Markram and what's his name, Deepak Huda did put up a partnership, but it wasn't good enough, and that's what they're missing, proper finishers.
Absolutely, I think Aiden Markram was one shining light in what was a pretty ordinary performance, so to say, from Punjab. Huda also, he scored that 28, but he took a lot of balls to get there. Even Harpreet Brar, who's their number 7 player, expect a little bit more from him. 14 of 19, just not good enough over there. Yes, the pitch wasn't helping, but I feel like a little bit more intent, a little bit more impetus was needed towards the back end of that innings, and they a 141 145 10 15 more runs and they would have been in this game very, very strong. So they just lost out over there from the get go. I just thought that they were not able to get off to a kind of a flying start. The Chris Gale situation, every 2 3 games when he doesn't perform, these questions start coming in. Is he good enough? Do they try someone like a Jordan or another different kind of batsman? Because Markram is a solid number 3. So if Chris Gale is not working, you bring in a little bit more depth in the lower middle order. Find another batsman. Maybe I don't know if they have. a couple other options, but I know Chris Jordan at number 7 is a good shout. Uh, because he can give you a couple overs at the ball as well, and he's good in these kind of conditions where he can change it up a little bit. So look, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. A few chinks in the Punjab squad that they can try to work on. But they seem like a pretty decent squad. They're not giving up as we know them from the past. Usually when Punjab goes into a tricky situation, they usually come out on the losing side. But here we're seeing a lot of fight, which is nice to see.
Yeah, Nicholas Puran has been an issue. I think they relied a lot
Yes,
on him, especially in that
yes.
middle order, and he just has not provided. It's a poor sign for Punjab and for West Indies.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's very big because he's a talented batsman who's not been performing for a while now. I mean, it's not that it's just like since the restart he hasn't gone in or whatever.
Yeah.
Even in the first part of the tournament, he was being heavily relied on. But I still think that there's enough talent to continue to persist with him, and hopefully he comes good in the last couple of games when they really need him.
Yeah, and I agree with you with that extra bowler because they have five bowlers, but today Shami had an off day after two really good games, so they probably need that backup because they're relying too heavily on Shami. There's a lot of pressure there, so maybe
Yeah.
like a Jordan can ease that pressure. But just a word on Rohit Sharma's captaincy, the way he got Pollard in for that over, picked up two big wickets of Rahul and Chris Gale. I criticized him in the last game, but he learned from his mistakes and he's shown that he is a astute captain.
Pollard and Bumrah were phenomenal with the ball. I thought they were very, very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Rohit Sharma, come on. I mean, he's probably the best captain amongst the lot of captains that they have. I mean, there will be some argument about it for sure because there are a couple in Ian Morgan, maybe Kane Williamson, a couple other very good captains as well. But and Dhoni, of course. But for me, Rohit Sharma is probably right up there, if not the best in the business. So he will every now and again make a mistake, but the way he comes out and changes it up and learns from his mistakes and these kind of calls, different captains don't make these kind of calls. Very, very shrewd captains only make these kind of calls. It wasn't easy to do it at the time when he did it, and he needed a wicket. He realized it. People go back to your best bowler, stuff like that, but he understood maybe the pitch is too paced and having Pollard in over there with the cutters and the slower ones will probably be ideal. Comes in,
Yeah.
picks up the two most important wickets, arguably in the team, KL Rahul especially, and then Gale not being too much in form. So both important wickets, kind of just bringing in that middle order, which is a little bit exposing that middle order, which was telling in the end. For them, like another 10-15 runs, and that would have been a very, very different game, a very different chase for Mumbai to deal with.
Definitely. And Rahul Chahar getting pressure from all ends. He picked up a wicket today, bowled a bit better, but then he was outshined kind of from Bishnoi. Bishnoi came in, picked up two wickets in the over. He could have taken a third, and that would have put a lot of pressure on the Indian management as well because you have Chahal and Bishnoi who are performing so
Bishnoi.
well as leg spinners, and
Yeah.
they haven't been picked.
Yeah, I think it's a little. I'm starting to wonder if Rahul Chahar is getting that pressure of
Yeah.
is dealing with that pressure
It's
of being the
definitely
mainstay,
that.
because you can see his body language also is a little down. He's a confidence kind of player. I think that Virat and Rohit need to just put an arm around his shoulder and just be like, you know what, this has been decision has been made because you have proved yourself or something like that, and just kind of pump him up a little bit,
Yeah.
because definitely, I mean, yeah, it's going to be worrying because he's obviously seeing it, and he's seeing it sitting in the ground when Chahal is performing so well, or where in the last game when they lost, he was sitting in the dugout and seeing that, and even today in the dugout while Bishnoi is sitting and performing so well. So yeah, definitely some pressure on him. But I thought he did okay today. I think 4 overs, 27 runs. I think it was with the wicket. So not
Yeah.
too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah, he did. He did decent, and yeah, I think that wraps up this game. But just looking at the first game for
That catch was a changing point, though.
which
The
one?
one
Sorry,
that the Arshdeep, not Arshdeep, yeah, actually
the
Arshdeep
one of
bowled
Quinton or
Harman.
Hardik?
No, Hardik. I think that was a changing
Yeah,
moment. Quinton one,
yeah,
yeah, Bishnoi could have got an extra one, but I
yeah.
think that was a game changing because
Hardik
Hardik then
one.
went on to score those 30 odd runs, which is important
Yeah, and
for him.
that's the luck. That's the luck when you need when you're out of form, and shown that today. That if he got out there, then we would be slamming these guys right now. But
Completely different.
cricket is it's those fine
Funny game.
margins.
Yeah.
Yeah, matter of fine margins. But yeah, I think Pollard probably man of the match for you. He
Because of
lose one
that
over,
game
probably
changing,
Bumrah
yeah.
as well. You can give
Yeah,
Bumrah as well and
4 overs
Hardik
for
as well.
24 with two. Yeah, because Hardik also is very important. I think all
Yeah.
three of them. I guess for you and me always go for impact. So I
Yeah.
feel like if I go with impact, I think Pollard deserves that man of the match trophy.
I agree. Yeah, proper impact, and he stayed there with Pandya till the end. Had those big boundaries.
Yep.
Uh,
And now we go
and
KKR versus who was it? DC.
Delhi,
Yeah.
massive win for KKR, massive win. I'm becoming a big Owen Morgan fan, captaincy wise. I've been like backing him for a long time. I'm very happy that a foreign captain has performed like this because they get criticized too easily. I saw, I don't know if it was Akash Chopra or somebody like really criticized him for not giving the nine that ball. I'm like, yo, take it easy, man. Like even Dhoni makes mistakes, Kohli makes, Rohit Sharma makes mistakes. This guy is a proper captain. He went for the kill today and it worked out. Like he learned from his mistakes. And the credit to KKR, they're looking like a solid bowling unit. And for Delhi, I would just say that. That weakness that we talked about, that the middle order has not been exposed, it got exposed today, and they just could not deliver 2 3 ducks over there in the middle order, and they'll have to do something. Lalit Yadav had a very very poor game.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the likes of they are again very solid top heavy kind of a team, but their top heavy has been performing. If you notice, actually, every single team has this slight middle order problem. I
Yeah.
think Sunrisers was exposed extremely because I think that the top order was not performing, so some middle order was getting exposed. But I think almost every team has four top players, and then they have a couple of chinks in the middle order. Yes, I think with Stoinis it's a little different for Delhi because they have that capability. But I think Hetmeyer has been. Blowing hot and cold. Lalit Yadav has not performed. I don't know what happened with Shaw today. I couldn't get into. I don't know if
There's
it
a
was like
problem with
a.
the UAE, man.
I don't know if it was an intentional decision of dropping him or if it was some kind of injury. I'm not too sure.
I
But
think it was a
bringing in
drop, but I'm not confirmed here.
Okay, bringing in Steve Smith at the top of the order was a very exciting call in my opinion. But that gives you one less foreign option. They went in with only three foreign options in the last game. So.
Yeah.
And then they have the likes of Iyer and Pant who are very, very good at 3 and 4. So that really helps this Delhi side. And then when you come into Hetmeyer, Yadav, and Akshar Patel, this is not a great 5, 6, and 7 by any stretch of the imagination, So that's where they need 2 or 3 good wickets in Delhi, and then that's sure they were only able to score 127, even though Steve Smith and Dhawan somewhat got them off to a decent start. But the fact that they went together quickly along with the Iyer, then that opens up a lot of problems. And then Rishabh Pant, you could see that he was a little bogged down by the pressure because he was worried because wickets are going on the other side, and he had to be a little careful. So 127 at the end of the 20 with 9 wickets is not a performance you expect from this pretty solid Delhi side, and I would honestly just rate this off as a one-off bad game and move on from this Delhi. But if you want to beat Delhi, you want 3 or 4 quick wickets, and then you have a good chance of beating them.
Yeah, they've shown that they can be beaten today. And KKR, man, this is a type of team
My
without
team.
Andre Russell. He was injured. He was not dropped. I can
I know.
confirm that. But
That I know.
yeah, because he was my captain in fantasy, and I had to quickly change things in the morning. I had to wake 5:30 in the morning. I had to wake up and quickly change. I had a feeling that he might not play because I saw him pull up in the last game. But they came back strong, and even though they bowled first in this game, they did not leak runs in the death overs, which they leaked against Jadeja. They learned from their mistakes. The bowlers, stuck to their plans, and brilliant from them. And their batsmen, shaky start, but I think they found the key. You keep attacking in Sharjah, no matter how the pitch is. It's a small ground, even edges will fly away. So you keep attacking in Sharjah. That's what KKR did. Narayan 20 of 6 balls, bowled brilliantly. This guy needs to get into the West Indies squad ASAP.
I think so. I'm very surprised he's not even in those traveling 3 or 4 players.
He's
that
already
they're allowed.
there. Just keep him there.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if something doesn't change, or maybe if an injury is, he's probably the first one to kind of jump in and go into the flight. One question: is there anything this Venkatesh Iyer cannot do?
He can do everything, man. He can do everything.
Comes in and takes 2 wickets at the crucial wickets also at an important time. With the wickets of Shimron Hetmeyer and Akshar Patel, when you expose that middle order to be able to go in and take them in quick succession is very, very important. And he was very good. I mean, we've seen a couple of games with the bat, and now with the ball, he's a proper all rounder.
Ferguson didn't bowl his quota. I don't know whether that's injury or not, but I think it's because Venkatesh bowled so well. Picking up 2 wickets, unbelievable, man. And it's good to see talent like this. I would not rush him into Indian team scheme of things and stuff.
Of course,
let him
not.
keep performing. Go back to the Ranji Trophy, keep performing. But if he can bowl, this guy needs to get into the Indian team, because this is the problem India is having. Finally, we have like a
Exactly.
sort of Ganguly, like you know what I
Proper,
mean?
and he's a proper bowler. That's the one
Yeah.
problem we
So
had. Hardik Pandya was the
yeah,
only fast bowling
yeah,
or medium pace bowling all rounder that we had. But if Iyer
yeah.
can open the way he does, I'm sure he's going to be a pretty decent middle order batsman as well. Comes in at 4 or 5 and then gives you a few overs with the ball. That's it, man. That's
Yeah.
Hardik Pandya suddenly realizes and then starts giving a performance that we are expecting off of him.
Yeah, I hope so. Like, I hope like he just works on his game, continues to work, and like because a utility player like this is something that India needs, and he's providing that for sure. But yeah, I think now the table is wide open. Mumbai is still in it. I wrote them off yesterday, but I just saw the table. They're still in it. They have the
Yeah,
experience,
let's
so
pull up the table.
it's a bit dangerous because they have the experience, but. KKR cementing that fourth spot with the net run rate. There's still 3 games to go for each team, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
For Punjab, they're also still in it, but it's more difficult for them. For Punjab and Rajasthan, they'll have to start winning games. That's why tomorrow's game is very important.
Rajasthan has a game in hand though. Rajasthan has 4 games.
Okay, yeah. So,
So
they
4
have to
games.
they have to win tomorrow to change things and put pressure on KKR and Mumbai. So honestly, any of these teams can come in. But RCB for me. 80%. If they don't qualify, it's going to be very embarrassing. I think they should qualify from here. Like they should qualify. Like
They have 4 games to go. They need 2 wins.
yeah,
I think
they
that's how
should.
they'll. Yeah.
Yeah, if you lose all 4 games, there's a huge issue over there.
Gonna be a
But
big problem.
yeah, because especially after beating Mumbai, you have the momentum now. They need to win a couple games, but it's not going to be easy against Rajasthan. Rajasthan are poor, but they're poor against Sunrisers. But these guys on their day, like they can spring surprises, and they never give up. Right? They have that never say die attitude. So a kind of
Absolutely.
dangerous team to play, but RCB are in good form now after that win.
The thing that's going in the favor of KKR, I'm just noticing, is the net run rate. They are the only team in the 4 that have a positive net run rate. Everyone has a negative net run rate. Punjab is a lower negative net run rate, and actually Mumbai's negative is the most. So if it comes down to that, Mumbai could miss out on net run rate, and that would be something that would be heartbreaking for them. But I would like to see that. I just don't want Mumbai to go through because I want 1 week extra rest for 5 or 6 of the Indian players to go into the World Cup. So because of it, with Pandya, Bumrah, Rohit, Kishan and Sky, you have 5 players who are
Rahul
from
Chahar.
Mumbai's team. Just 6 players from the Mumbai team. That's your and all these 6 players are most likely going to start. So then you have the likes of Virat, who probably will play a couple of the games. Bhuvi is obviously definitely out. Shami probably might looking difficult, but your top 11. I'm not about the extras. I'm talking about your top 11. So I think maybe only Jaddu and what's his name? Virat will probably be the important players that will probably be starting into the playoff sections, which is fine.
Yeah, 100%. We're looking at it from an India point of view, but I'm sure these franchises, their owners are like after them to qualify, and the pressure is there. But yeah, I agree with you, like from that point of view. But yeah, it opens up the table. Let's see how it goes tomorrow. You're going Bangalore or Rajasthan?
Ooh, that's a hard one, Rajasthan. I would love for Bangalore to be embarrassed because I have a lot of other things riding on a Bangalore loss.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun game. Sanju Samson versus Virat Kohli. Samson, if he can perform against Virat Kohli, just get the notice of the Indian captain. Like get that attention. Like I'm also here. That would be nice to see as well.
He now needs to perform against Rohit Sharma because Virat is going away.
Oh yeah, that's true. No, but that's true.
No, I know what you're saying.
But Livingston as well, the beast. I want to see him because he has not had. I think that pressure of the IPL. It's going to take some time for some players. It's not easy. Jason Roy did brilliant, but Jason Roy has been sitting on that bench for 7 years now. He's been on the Gujarat bench as well. So he's been there, done that. He's had his failure. So it's not just that he suddenly came in.
And he's playing for another contract. It's not, the pressure is off him. There's no pressure on. I mean, of course, the fact that he's come into the team with Warner as a Warner replacement. Warner's been poor, and he has no pressure per se to make the playoffs or anything. So he's playing a very
That's the big
game.
thing. no
Yeah,
one is really looking at Sunrisers and like they have to win the game because to
exactly.
qualify. No one's looking
Yeah.
at that. But but it does take time. So Livingston is one guy I think should be back, and I will be surprised if he's not matched. Retained in the next auction. I think he should be retained. But it's
There
difficult for
is
Rajasthan because they have like high quality players.
the only thing is maybe the Abu Dhabi pitches are not suiting him as well. I think he hasn't just gotten used to the slowness of the pitch. Maybe he has
But
just changed
definitely,
it a
that's
couple of
always an
things.
issue. That's always an issue. But I've just that's true. That's because I feel that he can play his shots and everything, but that one shot that he plays, he misjudges the pace. That's for
Exactly.
sure.
Yeah.
That's
I
for
think
sure.
just a couple things in the practice just to change up a small fine tune his approach a little bit. I think he has the capability to do that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for joining me. We discussed a lot, and hoping to catch you tomorrow. Enjoy the game tomorrow as well. And it's all building up to IPL playoffs and then T20 World Cup. A lot of cricket to.
Going forward, man.
All right, man. Take care.